Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Brittany here. I'm in my Horror Nights merch. It is Friday, June 26th. We got our 4 originals announced this week, and we're gonna jump into each and every one of them. Monday, June 22nd, we got HHN Bloodengutz Presents a Halloween Fright-Tacular. For the description, this says, tune into a curated selection of HHN Bloodengutz Halloween favorites in this haunted house, complete with ghouls, gore, and all the frights that keep you coming back for more. And in the press release from Bloody Disgusting, this was a interview with Ramon Peredoa, who actually worked on this house. And the press release says, this new house picks up 15 years later from Holidays of Horror's conclusion, where H.R. Bloodengutz has been incarcerated in the Cary Penitentiary since. Now he has finally broken out of prison on Halloween Day. He has returned to the WKNB television studio to present a Halloween marathon of straight-to-TV Halloween films that were his favorites that he never got to showcase back when he was working 15 years prior. Since he's escaping straight from prison and returning to the derelict studio, he tries to piece together his former look as much as he can. But there's a fun little twist to how he looks this go around. And he's older because we were able to work with the original actor who played Bloodengutz in 2011 to reprise his role. Peredoa notes, we're getting an authentic, older version of the character in this new haunted house that is being played by the original actor, which again our fans are gonna love. H.R. Bloodengutz will host one demented Halloween marathon. What I'll say about that without giving too much away is that there are 7 movies that we're presenting as scenes in the haunted house. 7 movies that are a part of the marathon. Some of these movies are callbacks to HHN's past. In true horror host fashion, you're going to get to see him in video format in between each of these movies. He's going to essentially usher you into the next movie. H.R. Bloodengutz will also introduce the house itself and its backstory in Q-Line videos too, like the original 2011 haunt, where H.R. Bloodengutz told the story of each of the movies that he was presenting and then his own story. We're doing a Q-Line video for our guests outside of this haunted house where they're going to get to see H.R. Bloodengutz in this new role, telling this new story and prepping us for the Halloween Fright-Tacular. Again, that is in collaboration with the original man himself, so we're very excited for our fans to experience that. So I never got to experience the first house in 2011. I don't even think I've seen a walkthrough of Holidays of Horror, but I'm so excited to see H.R. Bloodengutz back. It's been essentially 15 years, like Ramon said, and I'm not going to give away my hype list just yet, but it's actually pretty high up there now that we're 7 announcements in. So the next house that got announced is Madlands Caged Cannibals. This was announced on Wednesday, and for the description, this goes, in this haunted house, a defunct zoo is now the deadly domain of warring cannibal factions that have taken their animal instincts to extremes. They're territorial, they're hungry, and your lunch. So this next house also had a press release, and this was by Cinema Blend for an interview with Laura Sauls, and she said, we think this house is going to be one of the most aggressive in the event. I think this one is going to be that intense, very bloody, very in your face, very intense attacking, kind of scare level. These are tribes of cannibals. They just need to eat, and you're their food. It's a Congo line of food that's coming into their zoo. This idea came out of every year we do a brainstorm week where we have scenic designers, character designers, show directors, all come to the table with every idea they can think of. No idea is a bad idea. And last April we had that meeting, and one of our newer scenic designers had the idea for this post-apocalyptic zoo that was invested by this tribe of cannibals because animals were extinct. Humans are cannibals, and they took on the tropes and traits of the animals that once lived in this apocalyptic zoo. And we just said this is a home run. It's a bloody house. It's one of our bloodiest this year, as you may have kind of assumed since it's cannibals. No one is safe because guests are trying to get in the zoo to be safe from every other cannibal that's out there. But they don't know that these tribes of cannibals are also in the zoo. These tribes take on these traits, they fashion them out of what they've seen on these old zoo signage and things around the zoo. Because this is so far after animals are extinct that they don't really know. So they're just seeing what these animals did and from what is left at the zoo and really taking on those traits. But they are coming at us strongly. They are killing machines, and every person that goes into the house is their prey. So I'm not exactly sure to what to think of this house yet. This one I'm pretty sure will be at the lower portion of my list. I'm excited to see how this one plays out though, because it sounds like it's gonna be one of the scariest this year. And for the third house we got. And for the house description, it says, awaken thousands of years in the future in this haunted house in a brave cold world driven by machines with a singular goal, to make you live forever even if it kills you. So based on this house description alone, I'm thinking of Terminator, Jason X, and The Matrix all tied into one. So let's go ahead and jump into this press release from Game Rant. This was an interview with Matthew Flood, and he said, this one is so exciting for a couple of reasons. I talked about the facility being really fully integrated and kind of alive. Our team is getting better and better, and the amount of integration of audio, lights, and how the characters are being presented is at next level. It's extremely exciting to see how we can bring an entire room to life, so everything is structured in a way that heightens the scares exponentially more than we've done in a lot of our stuff. I'm speaking in general, but if you walk through our Insidious house a couple years back, it was received as a very scary house. And we're applying the same kind of thinking to this one. It becomes both a very unsettling house from the subject matter, but then also very, very aggressive and highly intricated. A haunted house is supposed to be scary, and that I went through that. I loved it. I loved getting scared. It was awesome way. And yeah, we use gore, but it throws you off a little bit. And yes, we use all sorts of cool lighting techniques and audio techniques. But the goal is to make a cool event that people want to come back to over and over and over again. When they walk out, they're high-fiving their friends because they made it through and they're like, oh my gosh, you screamed so much, that was awesome. I think if we were ever to try really hard to make some massive, go so far as to really cause things to be shocking in an unsettling, upsetting way, that maybe we don't need to look at it again. I think that's what HHN does well as a whole. The team that leads this just wants to make the coolest event ever. We do this every year with the strong desire to see how we can make the coolest thing. It's never about the person who's directing it, because I can tell you, I have so little to do in the grand scheme of things of how great stuff is. My role and all of our roles end up being how well we can collaborate to make sure that all of our brains line up and create something amazing, because that's what you get, the truly magical type of experience. I will say it again and again, it's the apostle event. The only thing that makes it work is a magical recipe of everyone trusting each other. When I work with someone and they're going to their computer to sit down and knock out their piece of it, I know how they work. I've worked with them for dozens of years, so has everyone else on my team. We've been doing this for so long that it's the only reason we're able to accomplish what we do, is because there's so much trust and collaboration that has been built up. Even when someone new comes in, we just have to say, listen, you're coming into the flow. This is going to happen. And it's going to feel like it's coming too fast, but let's just keep going. I don't think it could be done any other way. The timelines are really difficult to hit, but we just keep going. And you know that you have to do it. And thankfully we get to smile the whole way, even if it's a few sleepless nights here or there. So for the final house that was announced today, and I cannot be more excited for this one. And this is Invasion Alien Abduction. We had a Invasion Scare Zone in 2017, but this is not a sequel, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see what they do with this house, so let's go into this house description. So I'm thinking we're going along the lines of Signs, maybe? I've never seen Signs, but if that's the case, I will watch it just for this. So for the press release from Nerdist, this was an interview with Charles Gray, and he said, We'd have been talking about this for gosh, the last 5 years. And every time we got together as a group, because what we do normally is a bunch of us get together in a room and kind of toss ideas around for what's best for which year. They've never made it quite to the forefront. The reason being is that you do the little gray men or the aliens. It can quickly get humorous. It can quickly get quiche and cheesy. And we've done that type of house before, or scare zone too, but in Invasion, Alien, Abduction, we really wanted to tell a story of the horrific moment at night when they are coming to take you, and that's terrifying. We had talked about it, and finally I think we came up with a story that really encapsulates that almost home invasion type of horror and fear. Something interesting we've done in the past on anniversary years, but this will be an anniversary year for us. We always incorporate a lot of stories into past, but if you notice in our history, there's usually 1 or 2 foundational new stories we're telling during an anniversary year. And Invasion and Alien Abduction is one of those foundational stories. We didn't want to tie it to anything, but because most of the event is tied to a something or another tale or prequel or things like that. So really wanted this to be the first chapter, and so we're really excited about that. And then we'll see what happens after this. And again, when we were talking about how we create this and what's the story we want to tell, are these aliens sinister? We thought that the scariest thing would be that they just don't care. They're grabbing animals, people. It's almost like the little kid with the magnifying glass kind of thing. It's just like they don't see us as, they're not there to terrorize us. They're there to take us, and they don't care what wall they puncture through, what kind of animal it is. They just want to do their experiments or whatever. But that's what makes it so violent, is these big tentacles just breaching through walls and grabbing whatever their heat-seeking devices sees. So goats and cows and people, it doesn't matter. They're just grabbing them all. So that was all 4 of our original houses that were announced this week. We did have Jack and Oddfellow announced back in March. So we have 5 originals so far, and we still have 3 more IPs left. I could not be more excited for this year. Some of these houses sound so cool. As of today, June 26th, we are officially 9 weeks out from opening night, 63 days, which is crazy to say. So yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys very soon in the fog and in the next video. Bye guys.